Yesterday I did a video where I talked about Obama's speech that he gave after the shooting in Oregon, where he called for people to get angry and enact some new reasonable and common sense gun laws. Well, to me, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why would you want people to get angry to do something that's reasonable and common sense? Seems to me when people are angry, they don't do things that are reasonable. It seems to me you want people to get angry so that they'll have a knee-jerk reaction and do things that don't make sense, do things that don't really benefit them, but do benefit you and your agenda. But you know, that's beside the point. That's not what I want to talk about today. I think most people know that I am not for new gun control laws. I think we have plenty of gun control laws, just enforce the ones we have. In fact, I think we have too many. We could do away with a lot of them and it would have no negative effect on violent crime whatsoever. It would just make it easier for law-abiding citizens to have the guns they want to have and do no harm with them. Now, I do often come at odds with the gun community because I do believe in some restrictions. I do believe there are some things we should do when it comes to restricting guns from certain people. Like, I don't think people that are adjudicated as mentally ill should have a handgun. I don't think they should have a pointy stick or a sharpened pencil, much less have a handgun. So I can see no issue whatsoever with not allowing people that have been adjudicated by a court of law to not own a firearm. I just think that's common sense. That to me is actually common sense. That's actually reasonable. And I also believe in background checks because I believe there are certain people in this country that have committed crimes that are so heinous that they have lost the rights of a citizen. These people do not get to enjoy the same rights that law-abiding people do. And because of that, I don't want these people being able to enjoy those rights. I don't want them to be able to buy a gun. So I'm okay with a list of people that are violent felons that shouldn't be allowed to have a gun so that they can't have one. Because I don't think they should enjoy the rights. I think they should suffer the punishment they deserve. But you know, I'm not an unreasonable man. I'm an angry man sometimes, and sometimes I'm a pig-headed man, but I'm not unreasonable. And if someone could come to me and say, okay, here's a proposed new gun law, and here's how it will actually stop crime, I would listen. I'm not one of these no compromise ever people, because when you say no compromise ever, you just basically say, I don't want to hear anyone's side of the story. I'm not going to do something even if it's right, because I want to do just what I want to do no matter what. And because I'm a reasonable person, I wanted to make this video today. This video is to give people that want new gun laws a chance to say, what are those new gun laws? And how would they stop mass shootings? How would they stop violent crimes? I want to give people a chance to say what they really think. Because so often I just hear people say reasonable and common sense, but they don't give any definition for what's reasonable and what's common sense, or even an example of what's reasonable or common sense. And then they definitely don't say how it would actually help. Every time I ask someone that says, we need tougher gun laws, we need to do something in this country, I ask them, okay, what do we need to do and how will it help? They never have an answer. They always just come back with some Australia or Europe, or, you know, they never even cite why those laws would work or why they would work here or why they work there, etc. Or even if they do work there, which I hate to break it to you, they really don't, but they never have an answer. They just spout platitudes and stuff that they've heard. They just regurgitate stuff that they've heard from Bloomberg and the like. And it's great to regurgitate information about how many people are shot here or how many people are shot there, even if you don't understand it or even if you don't understand why most of that stuff is garbage. But you have to be able to say, what is reasonable? What laws would you enact and how would they help? If you can't do that, you're not being a reasonable person. You're not making a reasonable argument. You're just repeating propaganda and regurgitating stuff you've already heard, just being a parrot for an agenda. And that's not reasonable. I mean, even one of the big directors of the Every Town for Gun Safety, you know, the Bloomberg group, he said one of the biggest problems they're running into is that when something like this happens, when a mass shooting happens or violent crime happens, people look at the laws they're proposing and they go, oh, that would not have stopped the problem. That would have not have helped the situation at all. And he said, that's a disconnect. When people see that what we're proposing won't help, it's hard to get them to enact it. And to me, that is like, what are you thinking? Why are you even saying that? Why would you say, hey, the stuff we're not doing won't do anything, and then when people notice that, they don't support us? Well, why would you support it if it won't do anything? What's your agenda? What is your real reason? If your reason is to stop violent crime and you admit this won't do it, why do you still support it? But like I said, I'm a reasonable person, so I actually want to hear what people out there have to say. If you think you have something that would actually help, tell us what it is and tell us how it would help. Relate it to a past shooting. Relate it to a past incident. Say, hey, if this had been enacted before this person would not have been able to do what they did. And remember, you can't just stop bad guys. You have to stop bad guys in a way that doesn't hurt good people either. Because when you look at the few thousand people a year that are actually killed by a handgun by somebody else, and that's really all it is, it's really just a few thousand people a year, far less than a lot of the other causes of death, definitely less than cars, way less than smoking and overeating, things like that. When you look at that small number of people, you have to remember that small number of people that were killed by somebody else that didn't deserve to be killed, those small number of people are far dwarfed by the number of people that defend themselves with a firearm every year. So if you just yanked all firearms out of the mix, you may save 7,000 or 8,000 people, but you make hundreds of thousands of people vulnerable, at least tens of thousands of people really vulnerable. So you have to use math. You have to be reasonable when you make these assertions of what would do the trick. Now, I'm not talking about things like fixing the mental health system or fixing racial equality or all blinking arms and singing kumbaya. I'm talking strictly about new gun laws. This video is only for people that think we need new gun laws, people that agree with Obama, people that think that there are things we could do that would help. So if you're one of those people that thinks we need new gun laws, here's your platform. Let's hear them. And be specific. Don't be general. You can't just say things like, we need to do something smart, or we need to do something common sense, or we need to get guns out of the hands of bad guys. You can't be general like that. You have to say, how are you going to do it? You have to say, how will it help and how will it not hurt other people? And you can't be one of these people that just says, well, it's better to do something than nothing, because any reasonable person will tell you better to do nothing than to do the wrong thing. So let's hear it. Let's hear what the law would be specifically, how it would help, how it wouldn't hurt other people, how it would have affected past shootings, how it will stop a future shooting, and how we would enact it. So let's hear it. Let's hear what you got to say. This is your chance.